Os. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Tom Callahan. Thanks for joining once again. I'm going to do a little series on the technique in breaking down the Kihon. I did a video a few weeks ago on the Kihon, basically so people could follow along while they train. People that don't have a dojo, have an instructor. It was a suggestion from one of my students to do this while I travel, and so I did. So I was very happy with that. And then I had a suggestion, so why don't you break down the technique? So I thought that was a good idea as well, and I'm going to do it in like a series, part 1, part 2, part 3. The first part will be today, of course, and we're going to do work on the Seiken and the Uraken, the first section of the Kihon only. And then we'll do the blocks, and then we'll do the shuto strikes, and then we'll do the shita and elbow, etc., as we go down and break the Kihon down. I only want to do this because there are certain things we should pay attention to within these techniques in the Kihon, and there's only usually a couple per technique just to pay particular attention to, because as we know, if the fundamentals are strong, then when we improvise and modify during a combat situation, we can move much better, and we can strike at different angles and use our techniques more efficiently. It's like the analogy I like to use in music is if a good musician has his fundamentals or her fundamentals down, the modes, the scales, the facility, etc., etc. So when they improvise, they're much more flexible. Same concept here. We want good technique, so when we are engaged in combat, we can use the techniques more efficiently. That's it. And as I say, there's only a couple of little things to pay attention to per technique. So I just want to go over that, and hopefully it's beneficial to everyone. And again, we'll do a series of these over the next few weeks. Okay. So let's start with Migi Sanchin Dutch. Yoi, ikamaete. So we'll start with the Chudan Ski, and of course, it's going to apply to the Jodan Tsuki as well. So I do see a lot of people, not a lot, I should say, shouldn't say a lot, but I do see people turn the wrist too soon and sort of push. And I also see the opposite, which is waiting, and then snapping at the very end. Well, both are incorrect, okay? We want to transfer right about halfway. Here, okay? So there's several things going on here. First, you want to make sure the elbow doesn't come out here and punch this way. You want to keep it nice and tight. So that's one thing to pay attention to. Secondly, as we're punching with this hand, this one is pulling back. We want this to pull back hard, like you're elbowing someone behind you, nice and tight again. By pulling this, it's going to propel this harder and faster. And again, changing it about halfway. Okay? Same will apply. So those couple of things. Keep the elbow tight. Don't push too soon. And don't turn too late. About halfway. So that's for both. Okay? Then we'll go into the Uraken Gamanuchi. Back fist to the face strike. I want to be about, my elbows want to be about a 45 degrees. My pinky fingers not touching, about halfway here, but just give it a little distance, about chin height. Shoulders relaxed, drop them. And as we strike, there are two ways to strike on this. In Okinawan, Weichiru, Gojiru, etc., they tend to break the wrist more, like this. That's not wrong. We're going to, in the Kihon, and we will use that occasionally too, we use both ways in kyokushin, but we're going to not break the wrist. So we're going to keep the wrist straight here. And when we're striking straight out like this, we're actually not striking with this part of the Uraken. We're striking with this part of the Uraken, right behind the knuckles here, because we're going and aiming for the jinshu, which is right below the nose and above the lip. There's a nerve there. So that's actually the striking part. Next thing you want to pay attention to is using the hip. I do see this a lot, but you need to engage the hip this way. You move as one. One. Bring it right back down to here, shoulders relaxed, covering the chin. Now, this is a very, very fast punch, strike. I think it's maybe my favorite technique, to be honest with you. You can use it from different angles, etc. It's a very fast punch, and it's almost impossible to block. So to generate this speed, one of the things I want you to think about is not necessarily throwing it as fast as you can out, but pulling it back. Pulling it back. It's not dissimilar from like touching a hot stove. You're pulling it. You touch it, and you're pulling it back. Same concept. Think pulling. I'm thinking pull, 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 not out. So that will help you develop speed, and actually in anything we do. So the next one would be the Seiken 4-fist Ago Chin strike. So here, we want to relax the shoulders, put them right in front, just here, just relax. Just here. Straight this way. I do see this sometimes. Just straight here. Same thing when we punch to the chin. The hip has to work out. Don't turn it too soon. About halfway through. And use the hip. Chin, chin. Bring it right back. 1. Hip, arm. Bring it right back. Relax the shoulders. Drop them. Okay. Next one is Uraken Sayuchi. This is going over the top. If someone grabs you, you're striking over the top. Again, back of the knuckle Uraken. Not so much here. Back of the knuckle here. We want to have our hands just slightly separated around the solar plexus, 90 degrees. Nice and relax the shoulders. Not up here. Relax them. We're going to use the hip over the top. I do see this a lot. To the side. Not to the side, not 45, right over the top. Right over the top. Right over the top. Look, use it, reach, reach, reach. Someone grabs you, reach. Bring them right back to here. Okay? Those are a couple of points for that. Uraken Hizouchi. It's the spleen strike. Now, the spleen is on the left side of the body. Okay? So we're going to strike, but we're doing it both sides, but the spleen is only on one side. But it's just for practice, of course. But you can use this strike in various circumstances. The top hand is going to strike. It's going to be separated. Don't rest them here. I see this as well, resting against the stomach. No. Here, here, here. Don't rest them. Don't rest them. Out here. The top hand strikes. After you strike, come underneath. Strike, come underneath. Here is where you're striking, here. Just, and use that hip. Hip. Striking here. And then underneath. Here. Underneath. Underneath. Come right back to this position. Relax the shoulders. Don't rest them. Okay? A couple of points there. The next one, the last one, is Mawashi Uchi. This is a very fluid movement. And in this one, we are going to break the wrist this way. We're striking the temple or the back of the skull, where the spine, the top of the spine is, to the base of the skull. We want to wind up. We're hiding this. This is being hidden. And we're going to whip it just like a whip. And come behind or the temple. Whip. Wind up. Whip. Break the wrist. Break the wrist. 1, 2, 3. It's not a Jodan-uke. It's more here. Behind. You notice it's a whipping motion. So you can practice doing this to warm up, okay? Anyway, that's the first part 1 of the series. Again, like I said, just a couple of minor things, but you should be paying attention to them. And the next series we'll do the blocks, all the blocks, inside, outside, Jodan, Uchuke, Gedambarai, etc. And so I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you subscribing to the channel, liking the video, commenting for sure. And please keep giving me suggestions like this because it makes it more fun for me. I really enjoy doing this. I really appreciate you guys being here. So until next time, have a great one, and we'll see you again. Os.